we're just interrupting you briefly to have a chat about the Enjoy an Album Patreon. We launched this recently. It's $5 a month, and for that, you get 2 extra episodes per month. You also get, and you'll enjoy this, I'm sure, an ad-free experience. You can listen to the episodes without this advert that you're hearing right now, which is probably annoying.
Never want to hear this again? Easily done.
Yep, and no more Manscaped or other sponsorship adverts. You just get the episode. You also get normal episodes 24 hours before everybody else. If you can't wait for that, Enjoy an Album top-level banter. And also, we've got lots of other exciting things planned for the Patreon, some long deep dives and other things. If you use Apple Music or Apple Podcasts or Pocket Casts, you can get a special RSS feed. So all of the podcasts, the Patreon and non-Patreon, go to a new place. Unfortunately, Spotify don't do that because they are dicks. But yeah, sign up to the Patreon. Also, more than anything else, is the best way to support the podcast. There's like 100 episodes now that are free. If you like us doing it, if you like listening to it, the best way to make sure that it continues for as long as you want to listen to it is to sign up. It's a $5 a month, or there will be a tier for $10 a month if you are Ultrasound. I think we'll call them the Ultra Enjoy an Album Ultras.
I think that's unclear. Become an Enjoy an Album Ultra for £5 a month, and you can be a Slim Cock Bumblebee Balls for $10 a month.
Yes.
Easy done. The first 2 Patreon exclusive episodes are Robbie Williams' Sing When You're Winning and Iron Maiden, The Number of the Beast.
Yes, they're both up, ready, waiting for you to listen. They'll stay there forever. So if you're listening to this in 6 months' time, then there's an extra 6 months worth of episodes. But those are the ones that are already up there as well. So yeah, sign up to the Patreon, enjoy the pod, keep listening to albums, and peace and love in the new millennium.
That's mine.
Yeah, I know, but I thought I'd try saying
man.
it. Okay, right. Hey.
Peace and love. No, you do it. You do
Okay.
it.
Patreon and love in the new millennium.
Welcome to Enjoy an Album with Christopher MacArthur Boyd and Liam with Neil.
Hello there. Welcome to the pod. Thanks so much for being here, doing this. What's going on with you guys? This is a one-way conversation. You can't answer.
You can't answer, but I hope that you're thinking it loud, whatever your answer is.
Yeah, this week we're covering Wet Leg.
Wet Leg.
One of the newest sort of ones we've done. We've done some more new. We did the 1975. Big album last
funny in a foreign language.
Big album last year. Big sort of cool festival band. I wonder if
Did you go into festivals last year?
Yes,
the Fringe Festival.
I went to Inverness. What's it called?
Up Helly Air.
No, that's the Viking Festival in Shetland. Yeah. It's not a music festival.
You went to
Belladrum Tartan Heart Festival.
Oh.
I'm sure I spoke about this in.
Oh yeah, you saw Chic.
Chic.
They play every festival there is.
Freak out. Dun, 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 dun. They're so cool. There are a lot of Enjoy an Album previous bands covered who recently announced live shows.
Yes. Sparks.
Sparks.
Are we going to go see Sparks at the SECC?
SEC? New album.
New album?
They're playing the Armadillo.
Armadillo?
It's a Friday and Saturday night. I'm already booked to do comedy.
I just checked. I'm booked for the Saturday. I'm not booked for the Friday, and I'm going to go.
Who else is playing soon? And Chris, I'm telling you now. I'm gonna go. I haven't got tickets. It's sold out, but I'm gonna get tickets. I've already added. I know they're playing Bella Houston Park. I'm not interested.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
I don't want to stand there with, no offense, 10,000 Glaswegians. Yuck. Okay, they've ruined the Strokes for me. They've ruined Radiohead for me. Okay, I've had enough. Okay,
yeah.
People make Glasgow, end of sentence, bad.
People make Glasgow unbearable.
However, they will not ruin this for me. The Hydro, a Monday night.
Yeah.
Iron Maiden.
You kidding?
I'm not.
Who's opening for them? Do you know?
I think it's one of their sons' bands. Nepo Baby.
Secret Posho.
We covered Iron Maiden on Patreon exclusive.
Yeah.
Which the Patrons already know because they'll have listened to it by now. But if you haven't, you can by signing up. Anyway, I saw that they're playing live. I meant to talk about this on the episode, but I didn't. It's sold out, but I used Twickets. You ever used Twickets?
What's that?
It's a fan-to-fan ticket resale service. So it's to dodge the touts, basically.
Oh.
So you can only sell tickets at face value Twickets
That's cool.
Twickets get a couple of quid.
How many tickets did you get for Iron Maiden?
I haven't got them yet. I've set up an alert.
When is it?
It's a few months away. It's a Monday night. I've set up an alert for 2 tickets, Chris. So if it comes through, me and you are going to see Iron Maiden.
I got 2 tickets to Iron Maiden, baby. Come with me Monday. Don't say maybe. I'm just a podcast.
After doing the episode about them,
like you,
and watching that documentary and seeing the effort they put into a live show, they went straight up onto one of my bands you got to try and see before you go.
Well, I would have loved to have seen Motorhead before Lemmy passed away.
Yep.
And now actually the entire classic lineup of the band's dead in Motorhead because they were Motorheads and they were doing a lot of meth and a lot of coke and speed and stuff.
How else do you think you run your head on motor?
That's what that's what they called that for, man. You know. So I do need to see Iron Maiden before they split up. I have seen Metallica. I have seen Megadeth. I have not seen Slayer. The guitarist's dead, unfortunately. So I will never see the.
I was hoping what I would have loved for was that Sparks were doing. See, Sparks are really popular, so that their gigs will sell out.
Popular.
Their gigs will sell out with the Armadillo.
SEC?
Both of them, yeah. They were 2 nights in a row for a reason. They'll sell out. 3,000 seats? Come on. In the whole of Scotland, you don't think there's 6,000 Sparks fans after the Edgar Wright documentary?
What I'm looking forward to with the Sparks gig is everybody sat down. Everybody's old as fuck.
Yeah.
I'm going to be sitting down, having a wine, maybe.
I love sitting down for a gig.
Yeah. Nowadays,
it's like doing a podcast.
It's like doing a podcast in reverse. Like a podcast.
What I would love is for a band that we've covered to. This is, my grand plans for long-term podcast. Yeah. Imagine Iron Maiden announced a second night on the Tuesday night, right? Yes. Then we do an Enjoy an Album field trip. Not just you and me, Chris.
Get a bus sorted.
Well, I mean, sure, just meet people in a pub beforehand. Live episode. Walk over to the Hydro.
In a pub.
Well, in a venue.
What are you doing over there, mate?
What?
We're doing a podcast.
What's that accent? It's a pub near the fucking Glasgow Hydro. Yeah. And they've got, why do you own this pub?
Finished it.
You dodgy Ray Winston.
Oh, I love it.
And then we all
follow Iron Maiden on tour, and then I don't go see them. We'll just go to pubs near.
And then we walk over with the Enjoy an Album Ultras.
Yeah.
To watch a rock gig
with West Ham flags flying.
That's my dream. I'm going to wear my West Ham shirt to Iron Maiden.
Yes,
Fuck yes.
Yes.
Okay, listen, it's a great episode. Wet leg. We have a lot of fun. We do a lot of silly voices. We hope you enjoy it. I'm sure you will. If you like us, then this is the sort of thing that you'll dig. Well, thank you, everyone.
What are you talking about, man?
I don't know, man.
Great times.
Shout out to Monkey Barrel Studios.
Shout out to Monkey Barrel. Shout out to Manscapers. Shout out to fucking Cobes.
No. We're not doing the Manscape here because the patrons.
Yes,
sorry, if you're a patron, we'll delete that.
That wasn't an advert. That was just a shout out to them.
All right.
You're allowed a shout out.
Okay, right. Enjoy the ep. Non-subscribers, you're going to get some adverts. Subs, ep's coming up right now. Love you, bye.
Peace and love.
This episode of Enjoy an Album is brought to you by our friends at Manscaped, the #1 products for below-the-belt grooming. Fellas, if you need a little spruce up in your downstairs department, you can do no better than getting some Manscaped products in your life. They sent us the kits out. We've showed them here before. We've used them. If you have ever had a little go at having a little tidy up downstairs with your razor maybe or your beard trimmer, you've more than likely had a little nip. You've maybe caught yourself.
Your Johnson looks like fucking Freddie Voorhees' face. Is that the guy's name?
Who's that?
Freddie Voorhees.
Who is that?
Jason Voorhees. Your face looks like Freddie Voorhees is when Freddie and Jason had a baby.
Freddy Krueger.
Freddie Krueger.
Yeah.
Shit.
Anyway.
Your dick looks like Freddie Krueger's dick.
If you don't want your penis to look like a horror character's penis, unnamed, then you got to use the right equipment, and the right equipment is your Manscaped lawnmower. Okay, so you're getting down with another person, and they take off your pants. What do you want them to see? Do you want them to see a big bloody hairy mess, or do you want them to see a nice, smooth, sculpted? Hey, this person takes care of themselves and is hygienic. The lawnmower plugs in, same charger as my phone. Very handy.
Yeah. You're on the train, charge it up.
Use that little thing on the train. go to the
See when it
train's
has
bathroom.
that sign that says only for phones and laptops. It's expressly so you don't charge your dick groomer.
Yep. Also, Manscaped, they have the nose hair trimmers.
That's actually class, man. Obviously, all the dick shaving stuff's good as well, but yeah, man, my nose was a state and my ears were a state. And now they look dynamite.
Yes, they sure do. I've been thinking about your nose recently, and I think it looks much better. Also, they do the most comfortable boxers. I don't think I told you this, but after speaking about how comfortable the boxers were, my partner used the album code to buy some of the boxes for me for Christmas. So now I have like 5 different pairs of them. It's all I wear is the Manscaped boxes.
Of that.
Yeah, very, very comfortable.
They are very comfy, actually. Mm-hmm. They are very comfy.
And it all comes in a nice sort of wash bag, nice leather wash bag.
My old wash bag, man, you know. I had this wash bag for ages.
My old wash bag.
My old wash bag down in the docks. Played bass for Iron Maiden in 1978.
So if you want to support the podcast, one of the ways you can do it is get yourself some grooming gear. You get something out of it. Use the code ALBUM20. You get 20% off. That then supports us, helps us with the sponsor. Everyone is happy. Least of all, your 2 lovely nuts. I believe you can use the product.
And listen, I know we have a lot of ladies who listen. And you're thinking, you know, I don't feel like you're advertising to me. Buy this for a guy.
Buy it for your partner.
Do you have any men in your life?
The thing. Sometimes men feel
you don't want to
embarrassed.
say, do you have any men in your life? But if you have a dad or a cousin that you're close with, or, a brother, partner, husband, boyfriend,
any different relationship that you can think of.
Maybe you're close friends with a man who's on your swimming team and you think he could be more aerodynamic or smoother for the swim.
Yeah.
That's
Maybe you're
another
planning
example.
the Tour de France and you're worried that the pubic hair is going to slow down your cycling team. You thought about that?
No longer.
Album 20. Thanks so much.
You're listening to Enjoy an Album, the podcast where 2 comedians listen to some of the greatest albums of all time.
A couple of years before she became known as one half of Wet Leg, Rhianne Teasdale left her home on the Isle of Wight, where a long-term relationship had been faltering to live with friends in London. No, I don't like this blurb. What did you have?
Way too long, man.
Yeah.
It's one of the blurbiest blurbs I've ever blurbed. I'll just. This isn't a great one. No offense to the writers at Albumism, but I'll do it.
You're going to do the blurb?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wet Leg is overarchingly sissy and punk rock and lyrically shocking in the vein of many of its singles, but the album in its entirety has the layered depth I was hoping for, rounded out by pop hooks, disco, and glam rock elements, sublimely weird electronic accents, deft guitar, and incredibly beautiful vocals that demonstrate the impressive range of both singers. One of the worst blurbs.
Yeah, not a good blurb.
Not a good blurb.
I'll get a little bit more in my cans if I can, Kobe. Sorry, I did.
Can I get a little bit more in my headphones?
So,
Dog shit blurbs up top. Why don't you do a quick blurb off the top of the dome?
The buzziest band that ever did buzz, Wet Leg, self-titled album, was one of the more intriguing indie pop hits of the last few years. 2 young girls from the Isle of Wight take on the music industry with their witty, sardonic, and dry indie pop hits about life, love, and empowering female relationships. That wasn't bad.
See, just off the top of the dome, that was actually sick shit.
Thanks, bro. Thank you.
You want me to do one?
No. So, no, go on then. Go on.
Wet legs, wet leg.
It's the rap. Wet leg is giving me good head.
That's fucked up. Wet legs, wet leg. Redefined. That's it.
It really did. It redefined what it was to have a wet leg. So what did you know about the band Wet Leg prior to this week's research period?
Yeah, whatever. I think you were quoting one of the first things I ever heard of them. It was an interview with them. Came up on my Twitter feed.
Yeah, there was a sort of widely shared video of the girls talking on a Radio 1 interview, I think.
Oh my God, I'm sitting here with Wet Leg. And fucking hell, when your first single Chaise Longue came out, I played it twice on my radio.
Oh my God, and we couldn't believe that we were on Zane Lowe's show.
I couldn't believe it either,
He
man.
loves everything. And you know what? We love falafel.
Yeah, that's what they were talking about.
Oh my God, it was the nicest falafel I've ever had in my life.
Where did they get it? Was it in Glasgow?
No, it was on the Isle of Wight.
Oh, okay.
Fucking Glaswegians, man. Everything's got to be... Was it for Glasgow? Because I've had falafel in Glasgow and that was the best fucking falafel in the world. Best falafel in the world from Glasgow, by the way. People make falafel.
Falafel makes Glasgow. It's not actually true.
So that was your first. So that you heard. So are you telling me that you got the Secret Posho vibes?
Not necessarily Secret Posho.
Yeah, but you understand. So you heard that interview prior to hearing the song Chaise Longue, or maybe you hadn't.
I got my hackles up because I don't listen to the radio necessarily a lot of the time, so I don't hear a lot of new music. I hear interviews with people before I see their actual shit a lot of the time.
Right, but Chaise Longue was such a big song that is kind of inescapable.
I escaped.
It's on TV shows. It's the sort of song you would hear like out in a bar, in a supermarket.
Don't go to bars, and the only supermarket I go to is Morrison's.
Yep.
They don't play that
They
shit.
don't play indie pop.
Not an indie pop Morrison's.
Especially not rude songs like Chaise Longue.
I went to school and I got the big D.
Yes.
All my friends get big D's.
Yeah.
All right, bro, cool. I didn't hear that. I like that song, but I didn't hear that. I just said that interview and I was like, it wasn't necessarily a secret Posho alarm was going off, but just an outright Posho alarm was going off.
Yeah.
I don't really have a cultural understanding of the Isle of Wight. It's a wee bit too far away from me. I only understand it as there's a festival there that Jimi Hendrix played a while ago.
Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, he
Right,
played the Isle of Wight.
Right, a while ago. Mm-hmm. I guess everything you said is true, but you said it as if it was recently.
No, it was a wee while ago now, I think about it. It was about 1967.
Yeah, okay, just a little while ago, Jimi Hendrix played the Isle of Wight. My understanding of the Isle of Wight is that, I see the people, not to upset any of our Isle of Wight album enjoyers, but I think it is a bit posh. Mm-hmm. The people I know from there are kind of poshos. They're not like ridiculous. It's like upper middle class.
Yeah.
Like they would probably not, I actually talk about this on stage sometimes, like when I'm comparing, when I call middle class people posh, they're like, oh my God, I'm not posh. Because they know posh people.
They know actual
Yeah, and they're like, I'm not like that.
landed
Okay.
gentry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then when you talk to landed gentry and you're like, are you posh? They're like, yes.
Yes.
That's what I bloody am. And you know what? It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So for me, Isle of Wight, they're the kind of people who would go, oh my God, I'm not posh. But then when you actually talk to them
Yeah.
about,
Isle of Wight's not like Isle of Man, where it's like a tax evasion thing, is it? Or the Gibraltar Island rock.
yeah, so Guernsey is the big tax evasion
That's
place.
in Jersey, isn't it?
No, and the people of Guernsey would fuck you up for saying
Right,
that.
okay, sorry.
They would pull off a glove, finger by finger, and then they would slap you across the face with it.
Like that. And I would come apparently.
Yeah. Humiliation
Immediately.
kink. I did a gig in Guernsey, and in the front row, there was like a guy, and I was like asking what he did, and he was being a little bit evasive, and then everybody started giggling. And after the show, someone DM'd me to say the reason he was being evasive is because he just got
Tax
out.
evader.
Yeah, he just got out of prison for like being this really corrupt businessman, and everyone thought it was very funny. Anyway,
funny.
so
Sometimes you can just detect someone's vibe and go, something's off about you, I'm going to talk to you.
yeah, he was wearing like a black and white prisoner's uniform, and he holding a big bag marked swag with a $sign.
Had a domino mask on.
So Isle of Wight, I don't think it's quite. I'm not sure if it's a tax evasion place, but I think it is a bit middle class. It's the sort of place where when people get a bit of money, they go, "I'm going to retire to the Isle of Wight."
How big is this isle, man?
I don't think it's massive. No,
Size of a town?
I think there's a couple towns on it.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
is my understanding.
I always hear about these like Shetland, like Maryland's for Shetland. And I'm always like, how big is it, man?
Well, Shetland's a collection of islands with a few towns on it. Again, Lowick being the main one. Shetland's. I wouldn't say Shetland is posh though.
No.
I've been there twice.
Yeah.
Shetland.
No, I'm not saying all islanders Or posh.
It sounds like that's what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not an island person. You know, I've just got,
Island boy.
go and give me that island boy. Go and give me that do-do thing. Go and give me that make me sing. Go and give me that island thing. They were great. Where are they in the list? We don't do the list anymore.
They're next week. Next week, the Island Boys.
Island boy.
The other thing I know about Isle of Wight is that they all support Southampton, which again in my head I've put down as a posh boys club.
Okay, sure.
So I have going in knowing that Wet Leg are from the Isle of Wight and having heard of that interview, I have my preconceptions about them as people.
Mm-hmm.
And Chaise Longue was a song. I mean, I do listen to the radio. I listen to BBC Radio 6 music.
BBC Radio 6 music. Coming up shortly, we've got something else.
This week it's Jarvis Cocker showing you his favourite songs and then giving us a tour of his allotment.
Jarvis Cocker charts the night sky.
My favourite person to do an impression with on 6 Music is Keris Matthews, who has like a really crazy Sunday morning show where she's got freedom to do anything. And she really takes advantage. Hello and welcome to the Sunday morning show with Keris Matthews. Today we have the Slovenian Violin Orchestra. We're going to be playing 25 minutes of songs whilst I read Sylvia Plath poetry over it.
Wow, that sounds shit hot.
It's great. Yeah, it's a good show.
Stuart McConey in there?
Stuart McConey, Radcliffe and McConey, the most annoying, no offense to two men doing banter about music, because I actually think that's a cool genre.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
Yeah, but they do have pretty annoying radio banter, those two.
Oh, yeah. I think you've came from McConey on this before.
Not
in a good way.
I'm coming from again. Right?
Yeah. Bloody hell.
I mean, if we're ranking my favourite 6 Music presenters,
And that's what we're doing on this podcast.
Lauren Laverne, underrated radio goat.
I
IMO.
like her.
She's great. She's so knowledgeable. She is a real, like, she obviously was in the band Kaniki. She has a passion and interest for not just music, but lots of arts and culture, and is pretty well good on all of it. You know what I mean? She's a bit of a lib, but I like her. Okay. Keris Matthews, for reasons already stated, absolutely slaps.
Yeah.
Huey Morgan of the Fun Loving Criminals, an appallingly annoying radio host with the best choices in music I've ever heard. Oh my God.
Does that balance out for you?
He's like a 90s radio shock jock. Yo, what's happening? Is Huey Morgan here. Anyway, here's a track by Jimi Hendrix that you've never heard in your damn life.
Yeah.
And then it'll be the best song I've ever heard.
Wow.
He's great. Anyway, I listen to 6 Music every morning, and they have their playlist, and they fucking come over Wet Leg. Okay.
Yeah.
The leg is wet because it's covered in 6 Music's cum.
Wow. Did you find out why they're called this?
So there's a few differing stories.
Different stories.
And this is a thing that I think is the band. They do a few things about like their origin story, the reason of their name, the reasoning behind songs. They give like different versions to the media. So the 2 versions,
Very much like the Joker in The Dark Knight. By Heath Ledger.
want to know how I got these scars? Yeah.
Want to know how I got these wet legs?
Do you want to know how I got a wet leg?
Is that Jewish Joker? The Joker?
Why are you called Wet Leg? Why are they called Wet Leg, Batman? That's Bane.
Why are you called Wet Leg? For you, baby.
Oh no, the Chaise Longue for you, maybe.
I went to college. I got the That sounds like Brian Badondi instead of Bane.
So Wet Leg, one of the reasons they've given is that it's 2 words you can name the band using emojis, like a water spray.
Very helpful for me when I do my emojis for the social media.
Yes. Which, by the way, I don't think it's enough credit because it's easy when you see the tweet publicizing the new episode. It's easy to just scan over it and go, "There's a new Enjoying album."
Sure.
But some of your
Take a look at the emojis sometimes.
some of the emoji choices are on point. Let's say.
Let's just say that.
So the Wet Leg, that's one reason. The other reason that they said is that it's just a funny name and like it's hard to take yourself too seriously, and they wanted to remind themselves that it's just a bit of fun. Like
This album is a bit of fun.
We're in a band called Wet Leg. Like, how seriously could we take ourselves?
We play guitars.
Wet Leg.
That's how it happened. Are we doing Secret Posho? I feel like we've kind of covered it. Have you got some?
I've got some little nuggets of information. What the fuck is this?
Secret Posho, secret Posho. You do it fast and it feels like no show. I got the money, you got those bros. Secret Posho.
So the names are Rhiann Tisdale and Hester Chambers. End of segment.
End of segment. Secret Posho.
Girl's called
Hester.
Hester.
That's an old lady's name.
What is it? There's Hester Blumenthal.
That's an old man.
Yeah.
Who cooks.
So you got Rhiann. She was born in Thornby. When I'm cleaning windows.
I was saying a Corby, the trouser
press. Yeah.
What's
yeah.
Formby? What's that?
I think it's near Liverpool.
Think so?
Yeah.
You look it up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Formby? Like George Formby?
That's how
Was
it's
that a
spelled.
stage name probably? And he was just like, I'm for Formby. Are we
Form,
doing a Secret Posho on George Formby?
Formby, town in England.
Oh, it looks nice.
Yeah. Borough of Merseyside.
But Merseyside, man. This
Yes.
guy knows his town. So.
For the audio listener, I just dabbed.
I'm really hungover, so I'm just doing a slow motion tap to keep my head still.
Her parents were in the merchant navy.
Mm-hmm.
Her dad was an engineer. She said, I'm not even sure what my mum was doing in the merchant navy.
Killing people, probably.
And she briefly, so they met at college and began to sort of like play songs together, not taking it that seriously, did a couple of gigs. And then Rhiann moved to London where she had a few jobs. She worked in an ice cream parlour for a bit and had a job as a wardrobe assistant. And then pandemic moved back, and that's when they started making music probably. Hester Chambers, couldn't find much on this.
She's a mystery.
Her parents had a jewellery business on the Isle of Wight where Hester was an apprentice briefly. And by putting in the words Hester Chambers jewellery business, you can find Hester's now defunct online jewellery shop.
Yeah.
So you can...
Like an Etsy type.
It's a little bit more advanced than an Etsy. You can click and you can see some of the jewellery she's made, and it's all like out of stock and sold out.
Did you enjoy a jewel?
Enjoy a jewellery. I mean, yeah, I don't know much about jewellery, you know. But obviously it seemed fine.
Yeah. It was there. You could wear it. It was shiny. A magpie would enjoy it.
Rhiann's boyfriend was a guy called Michael Champion, which sounds like a character from a Roald Dahl book.
Danny Champion of the world.
And I found his LinkedIn.
Oh, what's he been doing, huh?
Well, I think so. The thing with Wet Leg is that they had a remarkable amount of success, buzz, based around only really having one or two songs pre-album.
2 big singles.
They were everywhere.
Yeah.
Which is, it doesn't happen as much these days, I don't think. You know, so they've been accused, and we can talk about this in a bit, of being like an industry plant.
Sure.
But it looks like it was because Michael Champion.
How would you explain the term industry plant to somebody who had never heard of it?
So I guess the idea is that
First time I ever heard it, Lana Del Rey, when she was accused of being an industry plant.
I think it's when there's a lot of buzz around someone new who or has obvious big connections to the industry. So kind of what we talk about sometimes with Secret Posho. And they've just obviously got an incredibly marketing team. And the reason it gets sort of bandied around is when you're seeing this about an artist and you're going, I do not get it. I don't get how I don't get how they're so big. It can't be because everyone likes this, because this is not that good. Everyone's been tricked. And so you get this with comedy a lot.
Sure.
You know, often you get sort of acts who are buzzy, and because they happen to have an angle or some shtick that particularly, you know, chimes with the current zeitgeist, as well as financial backing, and then so suddenly they're everywhere, and then you gig with them, and you're like, I don't get it. I don't get why they're everywhere, and you know, I guess would be sort of our version of an industry plant.
Sure, yeah. Like
so, Wet Leg are accused of being that, and you know, her boyfriend was an A&R man basically, and
her boyfriend was an A&R man.
Yeah. And who was the bassist on this first record as well?
Really?
Yeah.
So that's Hester or the other one? Rihanna?
Rihanna's boyfriend.
I thought the whole record was about their breakup.
Well, he played songs on, played bass before they recorded the album, but I'm pretty sure he's playing bass on the album.
Shit, man. Maybe it's just one of those things where it's like, hey, you're the only bass player I know, so get back here. You're a big heartbreaker.
Yeah. So, and he was a writer at Sony as well. So that kind of explains how they go from, two girls playing a couple of gigs on the Isle of Wight, which is, fairly unknown territory, to suddenly, playing Glastonbury and Latitude and Coachella and all that, all without having released an album.
Oh, and there's something like, I was doing an interview with them and they were like, and I remember, I was in LA and I looked at, it was our face on a billboard. And I looked the next week and it was Jack White on the billboard, but his was smaller than ours. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, right, but I mean, billboards don't grow. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not, the world has seen how good you are and went, oh, here's the fruit of your labor. It's like, some people who work for you paid for that.
Yeah, so it seems that, they signed with Domino Records, and it seems that Domino just went all in.
You're a Domino head? You like that label?
What are some of their other bands?
A little Sheffield rock group called Latic Monkey.
Who were another band that I was nearly going to mention in terms of like pre-album buzz. Pre-first album.
That was real deal though. That wasn't.
Well, yeah, that was not so manufactured. That was online sharing.
That was people making. They didn't even run their own MySpace page.
Yeah,
one of their fans ran it. Great.
Yeah. So this almost seemed. I mean, do you know the term astroturfed?
It's a type of grass. It's like fake grass. It's for football stadiums.
It's a really good term. For a fake grassroots movement. Oh. So Arctic Monkeys, grassroots, that was their fans. Uh-huh. I don't know if you could fairly accuse this of being that, because I can't see much evidence that they've manipulated the online presence to make it act as if it's a fandom. But you see it with politicians, certainly. The fake accounts backing up politicians. And
it's funny when people forget to log out of their fake accounts.
And they're like, as a young black woman, I think this is wrong. And you look at the picture and it's fucking Chuck Schumer. You're like, bro, log out.
Log out, man. Delete it. I've already screenshotted it, but you can accuse us of Photoshop.
So someone brought up the idea of them being an industry plant to them.
Who?
Some Rolling Stone journalist. Oh. And they said...
One of Jan Venner's mob.
They said, yeah, it's not an accusation you hear... men being accused of very often.
Yeah, I guess my example was Lana Del Rey, and she's great, So.
Yeah. So, potentially. Potentially. I think he probably has been levied at men before, but...
Try to think who. Spectre. Remember when they were coming through, that shit band?
Well, I remember the Vaccines were really buzzy, that first album.
That was buzz.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Vaccines?
Yeah. A pretty girl that you are.
Wrecking ball, growing up, I'm twice a man.
Yeah, so they are manic pixie dream girls, aren't they?
They kind of remind me of the current wave that you get in stand up of young horny women talking about being horny, and it's good, but it's. That is what it is, and this is. That's my blurb.
No,
said that.
Yeah, and it is what it is, and that's what this is. Yeah, definitely. That is very zeitgeist. It's just like post Fleabag, isn't it?
It's the post Fleabag horny posh girl.
Yeah, it's vibe. Like that's your angle. It's like, hey, I'm hot and I'm posh.
Listen, I like falafel and I like cock. And there's nothing wrong with that. And there's not anything wrong with that. But it is noticeable that there's a lot of it.
Yeah. I find it hard to connect with that.
Well, you are not.
Oeuvre,
Yeah. The target demo.
No, and that's fine, But it's also fine that I don't connect with it. It's not necessarily...
not accusing you of sexism.
It sounds like you are. It sounds like you're calling me a misogynistic pig, actually. You're the one who just said, I like cock in one of their voices.
Well, They say I went to school and I got the big D.
Yeah, that stands for degree.
I think it's a double entendre. I have a gross thing on my face the whole time. The fuck?
I had a gross thing on my face.
His name was Christopher McArthur Boyd. That's not true. I've never been on anybody's face. Sitting there like a little parakeet.
But they are they are that manic pixie dream girl trope of like they talk. It's almost like they're trying to talk in ASMR.
Yes. It's the Maya Goth thing.
She's ridiculous.
You don't like her?
Her voice is what's it? It's like Veruca Salt from.
I'm thinking of opening up a bakery.
Don't make me angry. You won't like me when I'm angry. I'm going to stomp my feet and tell
She
Daddy.
doesn't say that in interviews.
No, but that's what she sounds like. That's her voice.
That
she sounds
is her
like
voice.
Veruca Salt.
I think that if I can retire from... She doesn't make that noise. I think she's cool, man, you know. I think if you met her, you'd be like, that was an interesting person.
Right.
And she's a good actor.
What's she been in?
Just all these mad horror films that are coming out where she's like, I'm playing a young girl, but I'm also playing an old woman, and they're both killing people.
Yeah,
like,
that doesn't sound good to me. Are you a horror freak?
I get too scared.
I find horror. This is just going to upset a lot of our fans.
Hot take.
I find most horror utterly boring.
Why? Because it's quite predictable.
Very predictable, very formulaic.
That music comes in, you're like, I'm going to get scared.
I remember I was speaking to previous Enjoy album super guest Crystal Evans about this once, and she said it's like porn in that you like that's how predictable the beats of the story are and the way that they like use certain
climax.
Yeah, which I thought was very interesting point.
She says that she's been porn pilled. Not everything's porn, Crystal. Stop it.
I offered her a drink of Dr. Pepper and she said, that's like MILF porn. I was like, what?
Why did she say that? That's weird.
I said, it's rainy outside. She said, yeah, it's really porny out here.
Yeah. It's porning down.
Raining and porning.
Yeah, I mean, I get, yeah. I mean, yeah, as I like horror, I like porn, I like wrestling. I'm a cool guy. Well, Maya Goth has the same kind of I'm posh thing, which I love people like that. I think, see, if you're, you know, I don't like it when someone's a secret posho. If you're an outright posho, I think there is a respect to be had for that. That you're just, I am who I am.
Yeah, I get a bit, but the sort of I actually thought that as a society would move past the manic pixie dream girl kind of.
I don't think it is Manic Pixie Dream Girl, because I think Manic Pixie Dream Girl exists for the enjoyment of the guy, whereas this is more kind of...
You don't think that that's some of the... I mean, you read the comments on some of their interviews, and there's a lot of guys who are enjoying that element of their personality. They are... That's... I mean, that is an appealing thing to a lot of young men. It's just like
the
fucking
thing.
Eternal sunshine of the spotless mind kind of fucking woman with blue hair that will just change you. You know,
it's crazy that people use Clementine in that film as an example of the Manic Pixie Dream Girl, because heavy emphasis on the manic, and that she doesn't seem much fun to be around.
Sure, but the idea is that she'll free you. She's like a free living artist.
She's a balm.
You can tell that because she dyes her hair.
Yeah.
And these girls have that kind of look, and they look like they shop in vintage shops and smoke roll-ups and eat falafel.
I will say, if this came out when I was 18, I think I would have had a wet leg t-shirt, put it that way.
Okay, so you've actually stumbled upon a point I want to make about why I think people love this album. I think it is a mixture. I think the age group that they primarily are enjoyed by are late 20s, early 30s. People who were part of the indie scene, or at least interested in it in the mid-noughties. And now this serves as a sort of nostalgic trip back to that time, just as they have sort of, come into proper 30s adulthood, but with the knowing modern malaise that millennials feel. What do you think of that?
I think that should have been your blurb. It should have been your blog.
Because it is. It's a lot more self-aware than the music of the early noughties, the indie music.
Well, I'm trying
It's
to
a-
compare it
it's
to
a-
stuff that came out when I was a wee guy, the kind of post-punk, but with a kind of
Yeah.
malaise thing. Like, it reminds me of the drums a wee bit. You ever listen to the drums?
The drums, they're like
I don't wanna go surfing.
a total Smiths rip-off, weren't they?
To an extent, but they had that cool song where it was like you were my best friend, but then you died when I was 23 and you were 25. Great.
Could that sound more Morrissey?
No.
If you told me that was a Morrissey B-side, I would have believed you.
Well, I remember I read that in NME. It's like, oh, these guys are ripping off the Smiths. And I was like, I like the Smiths. I like these guys. And then they were on Jules Holland singing Let's Go Surfing, which isn't the most Smith.
Mama, I want to go surfing. It's a good song.
And my mum was like, what the fuck is that? And I was like, oh, they're like the new Smiths. And she was like, no, they're not.
Yeah. Where are they now? The drums?
I think the guy had a really bad time.
He had men's mental health?
He had men's mental health coming out his fucking ear holes.
Oh,
man.
God almighty.
Yeah,
Sorry
no,
to
I
hear
think he
that,
got
bro.
in a kinda,
We are brought to you by Manscaped.
I don't want to just speculate on what happened to this guy, but I think he was in a cult or an abusive
in a
relationship.
cult.
Cult.
Did he join an
Or
album
he had
Patreon?
health problems. I can't remember. Anyway, good guy, Jonathan something.
Do you want to hear my YouTube comment of the week?
Is it Unhinged?
Fairly.
Unhinged YouTube comment of the week.
Just a short one. This
That
one.
wasn't good, that one.
This was on the falafel interview. Armando Cerna, 6 months ago, said, So, are they witches then? I don't care if they are. I know witches, for better or worse.
Okay.
I love that.
That is for better.
That's the interview. I love falafel. And he's like, are they witches?
Anyway, jeez, if they're eating Middle Eastern foods.
Listen, I know witches, so it's fine if they are. I would just like to know to update my witch index.
I have 3 separate Unhinged YouTube comments. I
Great.
wouldn't mind it if you ranked them. First one, 19 hours ago. I said 19 years ago, which is crazy.
90, which, I
YouTube
mean,
didn't exist.
yeah.
And neither did,
Wet leg.
Wet Leg. Yeah. I mean, they existed and they knew each other, but they weren't Wet Leg yet. Mm-hmm. So John B, 19 hours ago, as of last night.
So this is maybe the freshest Unhinged YouTube comment we've ever had.
Potentially, yeah.
19 hours before the record. This could have been you in preparation for this.
It wasn't me.
This is
Someone else said
this
that.
is an astroturfed YouTube
This is
comment.
a false flag. John B said, some bands have the magic, and they do. They have a sound of their own, like Muse or Stereophonics, for example. Great album. Hope they stay happy and do more good stuff. Next
Yeah.
one, John. Not as unhinged as it
I
could be.
have to say, Stereophonics and Muse were not musical touchstones that I've thought about during the listening of Wet Leg, but hey.
What's that Stereophonic song? The handbags and the glad rags that your poor old granddad had. That's a George Stewart
It's a
song,
Rod
obviously.
Stewart song, but it was the Stereophonics version used in the UK version of The Office.
Okay, this one's from someone called Whitney Struss.
Liz
And it's a
Truss's
little-
alt. They are witches.
Yeah, what she's been. I
A
need to.
curse upon you.
A cat. Whitney Struss said, I need to pause the video mid-kick to see if she's wearing underwear.
What the fuck?
What the fuck, man? What the fuck? Idris. I need to pause the video mid-kick to see if she's wearing underwear. A gal could hide a lot inside those little house on the prairie dresses.
What the? So they're wearing those crazy dresses on the Chaise Longue video.
Yeah.
They're dressed kind of cultish, aren't they?
Yeah, they're dressed. Well, they're dressed like Amish folk, which isn't necessarily a cult. Wouldn't mind not having a couple of electronics these days with them. I meant it's mental health, you know.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm talking about
Okay,
it.
well, that was a crazy sentence.
This is the last one from Uncle Trilly. I'd like to say that in addition to this being a banger, Wet Leg is demonstrating good sun sense. Wide-brimmed hats and light-coloured clothing are good for combating skin cancer.
Yep.
Also useful after doing high kicks and tall grass so you can easily check for ticks. Responsible, and entertaining. I think Uncle Trilly was having a bit of a laugh. I wouldn't say that was unhinged. I think that's just a good comment.
You're just having some good crazy bants in the YouTube community.
Yeah, but Whitney talking about it just reminded me of one of my favourite records, Girls, the band Girls, who didn't have any girls in them. They had a song called Morning Light, and this is one of the first times I really became unhinged on YouTube myself. There was a bit where there's a girl in the video and she does a slow motion jump into a bed and the camera pans down, and for a fraction of a second you can see some pubes. And let me tell you something, when I was 18, that was my wet leg, I'll tell you that much, man.
Wow, okay. A bit of pubis on display.
Hairy fatty, man.
Yeah, okay. Once again, this episode is brought to you by Manscaped.
Watch the Girls Morning Light video, right? Watch it. If you don't want to look like
Let's
that.
put up the script. Let's put it up on here.
No.
Before we get into the songs on the album, shall we do Dream Sleeves?
We look at the thing and it's album art.
Well, hold your horses, because you suggested a very special double feature. With double entendres, we've got a double on feature where a collab between Dream Sleeves and Tattoo Woohoo.
So you want to like do them both songs at the same time?
Yeah. Okay.
What 3 and 1? That's not a good way of measuring time. 3 and 1.
We just you sing yours and I'll sing mine. We're together. Oh no, I just sang the wrong thing.
You were doing my song. You need to do Dream Sleeves, man.
Okay, right. We'll try again. Okay. We look at the odds and we rate the odds and we decide if it's a good or bad.
With two guys. Or if yours is done and mine's not even started.
Yeah, some would say your jingle is way too long.
With two guys reviewing Dream Sleeves, we're gonna Google image search and then
We'll
leave.
leave.
If it's tattoo woohoo or tattoo album art, we're judging the art. Yeah, that's what we do. Do. Full sleeve or big parts, big sleeves or wing starts. That's picked a design. Is it bad or just fine? Or dragon or a
Go!
pretentious or
Go!
you cannot hide, and we will decide if it's tattoo woohoo or dream sleeves woohoo. Yeah.
So, sure, it happened. I'll give you that.
Thanks, Coben, for clapping. And here we microphone.
There you go. Very good. That's Coben masturbating in the corner. That's how much he's watching that girls video. Yeah.
New segment, Pube Talk.
Hi, welcome to Pube Talk with Liam Withnail and Christopher MacArthur Boyd, and not brought to you by Manscaped. Right. So the reason
I remember the first time I saw a pair of pubes. You know, I played them twice. What?
Oh my God! Some of the best pubes I've ever seen in my life.
We're on the Isle of Wight. I love pubes.
I've just realised my impression of Wet Leg is very similar to my impression of John Ronson.
I went to the Isle of Wight to see some pubes, and a psychopath killed me. Learn more in my new book, Killed by the Pube Men of the Isle of Wight. Anyway, we're talking about the album cover.
The album cover has pictures of tattoos on. That's why we've done this.
We're doubling it up. If you're not a viewer, a YouTube viewer, you're a podcast listener.
To start on the album cover, we've got the backs, presumably of the two girls.
I love this.
And they're sort of coded as schoolgirls, aren't they?
No.
Of course they are. The one's wearing like a tartan skirt, and the other's wearing like a white shirt tucked into a grey pencil skirt. That's supposed to make you think of schoolgirls.
Right. I didn't get that.
Yeah.
Nobody dressed like that at my school. They wore shirts, obviously, but...
Right, but it's that indie sleaze thing, isn't it? Of like...
It's a little bit sleazy.
There was a...
The thing I like about it is...
there was a thing when I was, going out in Camden where it would be... there was like a trendy school kind of vibe where you would wear like a blazer with a badge on or a striped tie. So I think that's what they're going for.
Right. I don't know about that, but... What I dig about it is the whole records are kind of like, this is me and my pal dicking about. And it's like loads of inside jokes to like references to Mean Girls and stuff. And they're like, would you like your muffin buttered? Would you like would you like us to assign someone to butter your muffin?
Yeah.
And then it's like, Is your mother worried? Would you like us to assign someone to worry your mother? And it's like, we're basically two young girls dicking about in a rock band, not taking it that seriously, but if you want to live that rock dream of like worrying your mum with the dangerous music, we can do it if you want. We'll sing about dicks and stuff, you know? So this is like them two being like weird, doing something, you can't see it. But then you listen to the album, they spin around and you're fucking seeing it, bro. Not in a sexual way.
Yeah, okay. So they're sort of huddling around, looking at something. They are sharing a private joke.
Yeah.
That's a good... you know what? I think on both our parts, one of the best dream sleeves we've done. I'm going to be honest. Two individual interpretations of the album's art.
Yeah.
Both of them valid. And leads nicely into... So I do like the cover, actually. I like any cover that does that sort of... I can never say this word.
Obfuscates.
The band's faces. Has them on it, but doesn't have...
Who else do you like that does it?
I can't think...
You said you liked anybody who does it?
Kanye's done it, hasn't he? No, David Bowie did it on Black Star. There's a big black cube over his head.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought it was just a black star, like Hamilton.
What am I thinking of then?
I don't know, man.
But anyway, I have seen it, and I do
you're
like
talking
it.
about The Next Day by David Bowie, the one before Black Star, where he has the white cube over it. And it says,
Yes.
It's the old Heroes cover, but he's put a white.
Yeah.
Right, good.
What? You're such a dick for putting me on the spot like that.
You just said, I love...
I do.
If you love it so much, why don't you marry it? Why don't you love obfuscation if you love it so much? Anyway, Tattoo Boohoo. I thought, why even try and find pictures of their tattoos because they're on the front
They're
cover?
on the cover. Why do any...
Oh. We both got a flight. Thanks, Cobsy.
Okay, before we do this, I'm going to cough. Excuse me.
Liam has a cough. Not COVID, probably. Butterfly.
Okay, so we'll start off. It's on... do you know if it's Hester or Rianne?
So I was reading an interview in the NME with them, which I've not been able to say for a while. So don't read the NME because it's not the past. Apparently they're still going.
It's online only now, I
It's
think.
online only, just like Top, man.
Yeah.
My whole upbringing's online only now.
Well, I mean, this is what we're talking. This is the resurgence of indie sleaze. NME,
Urban Outfitters.
Top
isn't
Man.
it?
Yeah,
You know.
for sure. Urban Outfitters. So sorry. What did it say in NME?
She was like, what I'm doing is I want every stop on this tour, I want to get a tattoo every place I go.
Really?
But then she said, I haven't done it yet, but I want to.
Oh, that's insane.
Yeah.
Like bands
That
tour.
would hurt.
Yeah, you would just constantly be getting. Also, when you go from town to town, you get like a few hours, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Go see a museum, Hester or Rianne. I think it was Rianne. I think it's Rianne. It
So
could be Hester.
So basically, she's got a series of that sailor style, different tattoos, black and white drawings. So the first one we can see is just a black and white drawing.
Butterfly.
It's oh my god, it's the best butterfly I've ever
I'm
seen.
John Ronson. And this is my guide to the butterflies of the Isle of Wight.
He actually had a podcast called The Butterfly Effect. So that's
He
what.
did. It was about pornography.
Yeah, about Pornhub.
It was great. It was good, actually.
So look, this is kind of your indie girl uniform, isn't it?
I dig it. I don't think it's that obvious to have a butterfly or a rose. A sunflower looks like, maybe. Or I don't even know what that thing in the hand is.
Well, it's a sort of slight geometric shape, which was very trendy in the tattoo world about 5 years ago. I mean, I think they're probably all a bit basic, but then I don't think they're offensive enough to be a boohoo.
As a guy with 3 basic tattoos, I like it. Nothing wrong with being basic, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's
Basic's a broad choice.
it's the harshest thing you could say about them is that they're basic, but they're certainly not.
I wouldn't say they were basic. I think they were cool.
Yeah, I mean, they are, like, the thing is they do look cool. Like the girls both look cool, don't they? So the tattoos just sort of cement that. I've got no beef with them either way.
I'm giving it all a woohoo.
I'm giving it a hoo-hoo, which is...
You do that all the time, you owl.
Yeah. I just think, whatever. That's what I think.
You like that guy who hangs about with Winnie the Pooh? The owl.
Right.
What
Pooh-hoo.
what song did you like in this?
So let's talk about some of the songs.
Yeah.
We've got the main song, Chaise Longue, was their big hit.
Yeah, I like Wet Dream, man.
Oh, Wet Dream's really good. That's probably the best song on the album, I think.
Yeah, big time. Talking about don't fucking think about me when you're jacking off, you freak.
Yeah, which is
That's
fair
great.
enough.
Yeah, that's fair enough, isn't it? I found a really good, like, do you know how on Apple Music they do the thing where it's like the artist, I don't know who they get to interview the people, probably Zane Lowe, but they get the artist to go track by track on Apple Music,
Right,
which is
okay.
something you don't get on Spotify. So if you're a Spotify person and you're fucking sitting there going, oh, I get my Wrapped every year and it's so in-depth and really knows me. Oh, you don't get the fucking track by tracks for certain albums. So don't act as if you're better than me.
It sounds like you're projecting a
I'm
lot
not.
that you wish you had Spotify.
I don't.
So you could do Spotify Wrapped.
I don't.
So it could embarrass you by telling everyone that your favourite song is that fucking weird country song.
My favourite song last year was the Muse song Won't Stand Down. According to Apple Music Rewind, which is not,
So embarrassing.
which is fine, man. It's good. I get Shenmue for the Dreamcast. You don't get Shenmue. Anyway, Wet Dream. So she said the chorus is Beam Me Up. There's this Instagram account called Beam Me Up Soft Boy. It's posts of screenshots of people's texts and DMs and dating app going on with this term soft boy, which to put it quite simply is someone in the dating scene who's presenting themselves as super, super in touch with their feelings and really into art and culture. And they use that as currency to try and pick up girls. It's not just men that are soft boys, women can totally be soft boys too. The character in the song is that basically it's got a little bit of my own personal breakup injected into it. This particular person would message me since we broke up being like, oh, I had a dream about you. I dreamt that we were married even though it was totally over. So I guess that's why I decided to set it within a dream. It was kind of making fun of this particular message that would keep coming through to me.
So they've spoken about soft boys elsewhere as well. In the video for Your Mum, they're the two girls are playing as convenience store attendees. And a guy, it's just a corner shop, and a guy is walking around and he tries to chat up one of them at the front.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm actually in a band. We're called it's something along the lines of Tony and the Soft Boys. And he is supposed to be just like soft boy. But I put it to you that if a fella said half of the shit that these girls say, he would be accused of being a soft boy. And it's interesting that they say girls can be soft boys because I think
they're soft boys.
Yeah.
Would you think you could credibly be accused of being a soft boy at various parts of your life?
In my early 20s, for sure.
You were soft.
Hundo P.
Yeah.
Hundo. And it's only now when I look back and realise, a lot of the tropes you fell into, like fucking, reading, having read On the Road by Jack Kerouac and treating it as a bit of a personality trait, smoking rollies, fucking all that stuff. I was definitely in that camp.
Yeah.
So maybe that's one of the... the thing about the album is...
Here's the thing, right? I'm into arts and culture, all right? I'm not just doing that to make women like me.
Well, we're both in very long-term relationships.
Yeah. You don't need to try.
Yeah.
At a certain point, you just let yourself go.
Yeah. And my partner is also... And your partner is also into arts and culture, and that's something we have in common.
To an extent.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can call Funko Pop's culture, to be honest with you. But, she's
we
great,
haven't had a Funko Pop reference in a while. I'm glad it's back. Maybe that could be an extra Patreon exclusive, a Funko Pop review show where we take...
Sam's cool. She likes theatre and stuff. And so I watch a lot of
But
theatre.
I think we probably have both in our life exhibited certain soft boy traits. I think it would be churlish to say otherwise.
I used to wear a women's coat, so everybody knew I'm actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I painted my nails in uni,
And it works.
Definitely. Which I think I now know would probably be considered peacocking.
No, the peacocking's like a kind of Neil Straussian.
Well, yeah, that's where it comes from. The idea of if you pluck up your feathers in a
Russell
big way.
Brand literally looked like a peacock.
Yeah.
He literally made his backcombed his hair.
So I think probably I was doing a bit of that when I would paint my nails or whatever. I think I was probably doing it for female attention at university.
Yeah, fair enough.
As a conversation point.
Yeah.
So one thing that me and some friends would do occasionally as a way to chat to ladies on a night out, we would take little rubber ducks with us on a night out, and you would sit it in the top of your pint, and people would come up and go, "Oh my god, you got rubber ducks!" Oh my god.
Like, well, yeah, I guess you know.
I'm pretty crazy. Oh my god, I'm a pretty crazy guy.
Yeah, like it's just like it's just a laugh,
Listen, rubber ducks around the fucking Hawley Arms in 2007. People ate that shit up.
I bet.
And look, that's a soft boy thing. I wouldn't do it now.
No, we're soft men.
And they were no longer soft boys. They were soft men.
That's the greatest book I've ever read in my life. Don't know why Sylvester Stallone's reading it. Hey, dude.
Yeah, so Wet Dream, that was a song that really reminded me of the Yeah. It's like
You get vibes off this.
big Karen O vibes.
To me, I think one reason this kind of came through. Do you know they use that? Are you a fan of that phrase? The political phrase cuts through.
Am I a fan of that phrase?
Yeah.
Sure.
I think it's disingenuous because people are like,
you set me up big time there. I didn't know whether or not to agree or disagree. No, I have no feelings about the phrase cuts through, but you introduced it as a good concept. I agreed. Now you cut through me.
I don't like when people use it politically because people are like, oh, that idea really cut through. And it's like, maybe in your friend group,
Yeah.
but probably not, in the world that's impossible. But these, I would say that Wet Leg really cut through, whether that's due to some kind of industry, black magic or something like that.
Well, the thing is, the industry, like, it only has so much power.
This is great.
They
great
can
songwriting.
they can put people in front of you,
But
there's only so much that they can trick you into liking people.
Yeah. What do you think's failed that's been pushed in front of someone? Something like that.
Well,
where
it's
countless.
That's the point. It's like it's forgettable, isn't it?
Yeah.
It gets tried and then it doesn't latch on. So you don't, they just become like a footnote. Oh, remember that band? I vaguely remember them. Do you know what I mean? Whereas these, maybe they've been forced on you a bit, but it stuck around because they can write really catchy tunes.
Yeah.
And a lot of the album is very catchy. The lyrics are funny, they're likable.
Yeah.
Super
funny, man.
They are quite like witty and playful, and the whole album does seem like they're having a lot of fun. And hey, post lockdown, you know what I mean? When this was sort of written, who doesn't want to have a bit of carefree fun at a summer festival? That's what it feels like. And I think particularly for people our age, it's a throwback to when we were a bit younger and a bit freer, and now our kids are having, our friends are having kids.
Yeah.
Our friends are having kids and getting married, and everything's so serious. And then these two fun chicks come along, and hey, they just make our world a little bit
Rugrats in the
brighter.
car. They're like, "Daddy, how long are you gonna take talking about Wet Leg?"
Can you
I was
open a window? We can't
I'm
breathe.
trying to make content. All right, shut the fuck up, or I'll turn the engine on.
I find them quite annoying.
The kids.
Yeah,
No,
your
these
two
guys.
kids. Yeah.
No, maybe I would. No, I don't think they're annoying. I think they're, I'd say one of the reasons I think they've cut through is because there's this kind of big movement in British music just now. The kind of Sprixagang, post-punk, like dry cleaning and porridge radio,
Yard act,
all this kind of talky, and they kind of do that, but it's a little bit lighter, and there's not many 6-minute long songs. There's one big scream in it. I think they use minimalism really well. There's only one scream in the whole album, and there's only one simile in the whole album. Like piece of shit. There's a little lyric of like you float like a piece of shit, and that's the only time they use a simile in the whole thing. And I think they're really restrained and really nice. And there's a little bit of kind of psychedelic guitar music. Kind of reminds me of like if Corny Barnett.
Corny Barnett.
Corny Barnett, that's what I call her. She's
Corny
so
Barney.
corny. Yeah, big CB. She's smoking at CBD for sure. No, don't say that. Cut that out.
What?
That doesn't make any sense.
No, I'm not going to cut it
I
out.
think it could be construed as sexist
Why?
if you were smoking that CBD, that Corny Barnett deck. Doesn't make any sense.
I don't think anybody
Right.
would have connected those letters and thought that. So I'm going to leave that
I'm
in.
really hungover.
Yeah.
But what I will say is this week I enjoyed the album.
I think that they can write good, catchy indie pop songs. There's a lot of other indie pop bands that I would listen to before I listen to Wet Leg. that have been recent. The Beths, for example.
They've been going ages, man.
Yeah, but they're still recent.
Why are you comparing women to women?
CMAT.
CMAT's class. They're
yeah.
doing a show with CMAT at the Royal Albert Hall.
Yeah, so I think I'm more. I think you mentioned Dry Cleaning, who I prefer to these guys as well.
Yeah.
I find them just a little bit, just a bit. You know what I mean?
Is it because of the privilege inherent in being two rich girls from the Isle of Wight?
And the total marketing push on.
Don't mind the marketing push, you know. Don't hate the player.
I'm
hate
not.
the
Well,
game.
yeah, but I mean, they are one and they are intertwined, though, aren't they?
No.
Okay, I disagree, but
They're not, man. You know, nice people get big pushes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know if they're nice people or
I
not.
don't know. Edgar Wright likes them.
Yeah. Okay.
Guy.
He likes everything, though, doesn't he? He's
No.
like an indie Zane Lowe.
I remember the first time.
But you know, I think it's good indie pop, and you know they're catchy. Some of the songs will come over my head. This metric we have of enjoy or not enjoy, it's hard because you know I found it okay. I didn't not enjoy it,
So you enjoyed the album?
but I'm not going away going, yeah, great album either. You know, I thought
I
it
thought it
was
was sick. I was like, this is cool. What excites me about them, and I think what excites a lot of people about them, is you hear this, and it's quite pared down, funny, sexy, cool shit, and you're like, what's the next thing going to be?
Well, I am very curious as to whether they will sink or float, you know?
Yeah.
Or whether there'll be a band that in a few years' time, like we mentioned the Vaccines earlier, who
What
are
happened to the Vaccines,
Well, they're
man?
still around, and they
Are
are.
they?
Yeah, they're still
Sorry,
around,
just
and they still release music, but it's just a bit more under the radar because they never really managed to top that debut album. And it'll be interesting to see whether or not these guys can and do. They're opening for Harry Styles on tour as well.
Wow.
So be interesting. Maybe in a few years I'll look back and I'll go, oh, I was wrong. You know, it was a real zeitgeisty moment, and actually it did sum up, you know, the early 2020s quite well. But at the moment, I'm just not that convinced by their superstardom.
I'm excited.
You're excited to see what they come up with next?
Yeah.
Wetter
Also,
Leg,
they had a song called Oh No. and
which
that
is your Fringe
that
show
my
was
Fringe
called.
show was called Oh No.
Yeah. So every week we add 2 songs to the Enjoy an Album playlist.
Yeah.
Christopher, what song are you going to add from the album?
I'm going to stick on Wet Dream by Wet Leg. There's a bit where it's like, how dare you think of me when you're touching yourself?
Yep.
And I'm like, this is horny, funny, scary, cool.
It's not scary.
No, it's not that scary. The guitar's quite loud. That's quite scary sometimes.
I'm going to put on I Don't Want to Go Out because I like that it has the bass line from Man Who Sold the World.
And I love the fact that they're just like, should we write a riff? Just use one. I don't have an issue with plagiarism in music. I think it's fine.
And my second song I'm going to put on a dry cleaning song, Gary Ashby. Gary Ashby, which I think does that talking over indie music just a bit more interesting.
She's a little bit more like that, isn't she? She's got
Yeah.
a little bit of the Pet Shop Boys, but a woman.
Yeah. Pet Shop Girls.
Pet Shop Man Woman.
Yeah. So that's the second song. What other song are you going to put on?
Well, we done a thing at the start of the year, and it was like maybe do an episode where we had like our best of 2022. We didn't do it, and did I even stick this on? Birthday Party by Porridge Radio. It's the same kind of like post-punk, but it's like, you know, maybe the kind of, there's a great bit which is, I don't want to be loved, 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 I don't, and you're like, whoa.
They don't want to be
She's
loved.
off her nut, man. And I like that when people are off their nut. As someone with men's mental health, I think it's cool when other people have mental health too.
Yeah, men's mental health.
When women have men's mental health,
That's sexy.
I'm like,
whoa,
what the fuck?
you changed the game.
Nah, I think it's cool. I like a lot of the kind of, it's not like my favourite type of music, a lot of this post-punk stuff, but that's coming through just now, but over the last 3 years. But I like drag queening and drag queening?
Dry cleaning. Dry queefing.
Dry cleaning or dry queening, as far as I'm concerned.
They are slay queening.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for downloading or streaming or watching on YouTube. And thank you to the people on YouTube who like the video.
Can I stick on an extra song?
No, who like the videos every week. I see you, and you are doing us a great service by pressing like on the YouTube. That's big boost for the algorithm. And thank you for the people who leave comments as well. This week's comment question: please rate Christopher's jacket out of 5.
I've worn this before. This isn't an exciting new jacket. Why do you rate his jumper?
My new jumper. Here you can.
His little chain, like Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yes. If you smell. Next
If you
week,
smell,
have a wash.
have a wash.
Just sort your life out.
If you don't,
Oh my god! If you are smelly, then you should have a shower.
is that Mia Goth or is that
That's Hester.
Hester Blumenthal?
Enjoy your week, and we'll see you next time on Enjoy an Album.